Hello, Scrappy Peeps. Suzanna here today to share with you this layout from Carta Bella, created using the new Our House collection. So I was inspired by that distressed chevron there, and I thought I was going to use that as the header of this photo of my family, my sister's family, and my mom and dad at Thanksgiving. And I wanted to mimic that header as a quote-unquote footer using mixed media and the 6x6 distressed chevron stencil from the coordinating stencil. And I didn't want it to be perfect, so you can see where I created the overlapping and tried not to get too much of that white border by just kind of shooting the mist at it, but not fully saturating the stencil so that it gave you that sort of speckled look. And because this is shimmers, it's going to take a while for the effect to really come through and dry. So originally I thought I was going to use that same mint green tone-on-tone pattern up the top as a thin border. And so I wanted to use a thin border down the bottom to just sort of ground the bottom of the layout so that you didn't just kind of fall off the edge of it. And so I used the selvage strip there because I really liked the white border around it. And the idea was that I was then going to shelve these leaves that I'm going to die cut from. This is the Thankful Leaves die set, and this is from the Celebrate Autumn collection. And I'm using the 6x6 paper pad because the 6x6 paper pad has some colors that are not in the 12x12 collection. And I wanted those, the more solid colors that coordinate with the collection, as well as the smaller print pattern to cut the leaves out of. And originally they were just going to be a fall pile of leaves on the ground, with the ground being that green, mint green shelf there. But I will actually change that up because I found a tag that worked perfectly to nestle some journaling in there. So that is the idea of where this layout is going to go. However, as I said, it changes because that header up there, you will see when I put the layout together, ends up being flipped over. And the reason that I end up flipping that over is because of the weight. My mom and a few of the members of my family are wearing some darker colors in there, and I needed some darkness in the pattern papers to balance the weight of that photo up the top there. So you'll see where we go with this in a minute. So that die that I just set on top of the photo says tradition. And it is tradition every single year that my family comes for Thanksgiving, because I host Thanksgiving, for us to sit on those front steps of our house and take a picture. So there you can see where I flipped that chevron, and the balance there is much, much better. And so then I thought that I was going to use that green, but I really liked that chevron, and that chevron up the top there is that really thin strip, ties it down into the bottom much better. So there's that thinner strip, and so that ends up kind of being the format of my layout. I've got that header with another border underneath it, the photo, and then you've kind of got this white space that pulls your eye together. And the photo is on that top left, and then you kind of move across at a diagonal to that bottom right, and that creates the movement in the layout there. So now what I'm doing is I'm just going to go through the different ephemeras and the frames and tags and see what I can use to, I wanted to frame the photo with a couple of the tags, but I also hate wasting the tags and covering up all of the stuff. So I'll try out a few different things, and ultimately it really doesn't need it. So I will shuffle through them all and come down to that one that says date there that I am holding. So yeah, This picture, every year I host Thanksgiving, and every year my sister, who lives about 2 hours north of me, she comes down, and this is sort of our annual visit, and we get to see the cousins, and my mom and dad, who live in Indiana. Sometimes they come out and sometimes they don't. And what was neat about this year, and I really appreciated and was very thankful about, is that their plans changed and they were able to come out and join us. So it was nice to have them there with us, because as they get older, I feel like time is more precious, and time with them is more precious. So again, what I've done here is I've pulled out the elements that have the colors in the collection that I really want to emphasize, and I've tried using all of them, and I pretty much stuck all of them away except for this particular one with the little florals, and I'm going to create a bit of a collage with these fall leaves punched or die cut, and I'm going to use them around this die here. I really like the way that that looks. It fills in a little bit of that white space, and it gives you that diagonal motion. I felt that this maple leaf was kind of hard to see, that the borders were a little non-delineated, so in order to delineate it and give it a little bit more weight, I just used a fine black pen and outlined the outer border of that there. And then I'm just going to kind of put the different leaves around that frame there. And that leaves me with just a few of the die cuts that I had pulled out. And now I'm going to go through the stickers, and I knew I really wanted to use that happy because I was so happy to have my mom and dad there that was going to end up featuring into, and really that wasn't going to actually end up being the title of this layout. It was just going to be a word, because I had really wanted tradition to be in the title, but happy memories ended up being the title of this layout, because those two stickers are just perfect, and it is happy memories. So I cut off the bottom of that tag because I'll probably be able to use it somewhere else, and it just says date. And what I do off camera is I'm going to use some more of that blue 6x6 paper pad that I used one of the small oak leaves in the die cuts for. I'll cut out 2018 using a die cut with numbers, and that will finish off the date in there, because we all know when Thanksgiving is. We just need to know what year it is in particular. So then I'm going to just apply these different leaves down for different weights. And I like the way that with the leaves there, you can still see that distressed chevron and the mixed media work, but it is not overpowering. So once those are all down, the next thing I'm going to do is I am going to, I have those 3 tags with the butterflies on them that I wanted to incorporate somehow, but really it needs that white space beside the heaviness of that photo. So I will just use, there's 3 little circles that I pulled from the die cuts. There's an acorn, a leaf, and I think flowers is the other little one. And I am going to do the Suzanna shuffle, and I'm going to shuffle them around the page. So those are the 3 tags, and I'm like, nope, see ya, done with those. I really wanted that tradition in there somewhere, but there really wasn't anywhere to nestle that. So now I'm going to do the Suzanna shuffle, and I've got it's silly because I just have those 3 little circles, and I push them all around the page. And I end up putting them over by happy memories in order to create more of that diagonal movement. But you'll see right there, that is the configuration that I actually really liked better, was when 2 of them were over by the floral. But you don't really realize what it is that you're doing on that other scale until you're done. So that, my friends, is the end of the layout. Enjoy the close-ups. Thanks for stopping in today, and I hope you're doing well. Take care.